Aliens? Aliens? You gotta be freaking kidding me. What the fuck? Just when you thought our timeline couldn't get more interesting, well, here we go. What a time to be alive, with the DoD and Pentagon releasing and declassifying video footage of UFOs, or as they're calling them, unexplained aerial phenomenon. That's why we're going to get into that, plus a lot more, including the topic of Blue Book with the context. The previous videos we did this talking to people like Jim Mars and former very high-ranking government officials like Paul Heller. That plus a lot more on this independent media organization that is supported by you. And one easy way to support us is by going to wearechange.org/donate. You could contribute in many ways, including ways without spending a single dime. That at the same time not only rewards you with cryptocurrency, but privacy-enabling features that benefit you. Definitely recommend checking out this particular section and others, since they not only benefit you, but allow these videos to be for you for free every single day. Now, just jumping right into it, the topic of aliens has always been something that has personally interested me and many people. There's a lot of theories, there's a lot of speculation, and there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the larger question, are we the only form of life out there? And of course, with the basic probability and understanding of numbers, that's not the case. The likelihood of other life forms being out there are mathematically very high. And according to some, these theories are validated when we get more evidence of unidentified flying objects that defy the basic laws of science that we understand in this Earth. Now, this being a crazy year, all the latest news about this is definitely being overshadowed, and this is why I want to particularly talk about it, since there are many implications to all the latest news, and the timing should definitely be questioned here, especially with the circumstances that the world is in. That's why it's kind of perplexing to see the Pentagon declassify officially, and as of moments ago, release 3 grainy videos from the U.S. Navy and verifying them as truth. Now, it's important to know that these 3 videos were previously already leaked and were originally published in 2017 by one of the former members of Blink 182, who has his own group that tries to expose information about aliens. And now, with the DoD's and Pentagon's confirmation, we're finding out that these videos that Tom DeLonge's group released are verified and are legitimate, according to, of course, the U.S. government. And with this news, Tom DeLonge actually tweeted, quote, "With today's events and articles on my and TTS Academy's efforts to get the U.S. government to start the grand conversation, I want to thank every shareholder to the stars for believing in us. Next, we plan on pursuing the technology, finding more answers, and telling the stories." For full disclosure, we've been actually trying to get an interview with Tom DeLonge, and we are still working to do that for you, especially since, we're living in a timeline where one of the Blink 182 performers is leading the way and telling the world the truth about aliens. Yeah, just when you thought our timeline couldn't get any stranger, here we are. And again, we're talking about the same videos that were also released by the New York Times in 2017, so these are not new videos. These are the same videos that we were talking about before. We did a full video report about these videos coming out. And now, officially, these are videos from Navy pilots who were on training flights in 2004 and 2015, where they recorded these UFOs, unidentified flying objects, which they describe as flying quickly, moving and accelerating like they have never seen before, as it was spinning in the air and using some kind of unknown propulsion technology that is not common to the people of Earth. U.S. Senator Reid released a statement saying that he is glad that the footage is finally released and verified, but went on to say, quote, "It only scratches the surface of research and materials available," hinting that, of course, there is a lot more that the U.S. government is hiding from its citizenry. He went on and said, quote, "The U.S. needs to take a serious scientific look at this and any potential national security implications. The American people deserve to be informed. And I definitely don't agree much with politicians, but I would definitely agree with this sentiment. Since the frickin' government lies to you and covers up important information from you. Pisses me off that they do this, and still some people want to trust these secretive fat cat bureaucrats that deny us the truth and hide it for unknown purposes, which again, I personally would rather know than not know. And this behavior that we have to have some big daddy government standing in the way from us realizing the truth is a childish understanding of our existence. And no matter what the truth is, it's always better to be informed of it rather than be left ignorant and vulnerable without it. Now again, the footage originally released over 3 years ago has sparked a lot of different theories. Whether if this is advanced military technology from another country, whether this is some kind of PSYOP, psychological operation, or whether this is legitimately something that is out of this world that we have no idea or recollection or understanding of. Either of those theories, if one of them is proven true, has of course very big implications on our way of life and our government. Personally examining some of the theories, I do believe that this is something out of our world, out of our understanding, especially with how just these movements defy the basic laws of science that we know of today. Now, of course, this is just my own personal theory and my own personal belief, which I could be absolutely wrong about. And it's important to have these kind of honest conversations, since I, of course, have my own personal understanding of what's happening now, while also at the same time understanding the possibility that something else could be happening here. Language here matters, and that's why it's interesting to see the government classify what we're seeing right now not as UFOs, unidentified flying objects, but as, quote, unexplained aerial phenomenon. And throughout my career as a journalist, speaking to other researchers like Jim Mars about this particular topic, there definitely is a lot more out there. And also a lot of implications showing government misdoing. And we have to understand that this is not just the first time that many of these theories have been put out there to the general public. But of course, this is something that the government actually implicates itself in many times by being overly secretive and being caught lying about basic details surrounding these cases, as we saw with the Bob Lazar case, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit. But when it comes to Aurora, Texas, Roswell, Area 51, Project Blue Book, we keep seeing a kind of overall thesis that keeps reoccurring, and that is clear signs of government misdoings and cover-up. The U.S. Air Force even had its own program called Project Blue Book in the 1950s investigating UFOs, while of course denying the existence of them at the same time. The realm of possibilities of what could actually be happening are very vast because, again, we know very little, and the little we do know has had to be leaked, just like the video footage that is re-emerging right now and being verified by the US government. These kind of deceptions, cover-ups, don't really benefit anyone, and they spur on more conspiracy theories about what is actually happening. And again, as I said earlier, it would be very naive to think that we're alone in the universe based on mathematical projections, and sadly, the kind of information that should be publicly available to everyone is weaponized by governments. This is why some people would explain Project Blue Book during the Cold War, why some people are speculating advanced military technology, but I think it goes definitely far more beyond that, especially with the actions from the Chinese government a few years ago, as they themselves have built the world's largest radio dish so they could try to make first contact with other extraterrestrial life. Yes, that's the new Chinese radio dish that is beaming communications in space right now, trying to, of course, pick up and to communicate with life outside of this planet. A massive investment, a huge project, the biggest one of its sort in modern historical context. And it definitely does suggest that governments out there know a lot more than, of course, they are sharing. And again, this is something that governments are actively trying to not only make contact with, but also preparing for if that moment does happen. We had an extraordinary gentleman on this YouTube channel a couple years ago, Paul Heller, which I will link in the description below, that went into great detail about aliens and unidentified flying objects, which I definitely recommend you should watch. We also spent some time with Brian Forrester talking about advanced ancient civilizations in Peru with the Conehead people. There, of course, is the Bob Lazar story, who, after a very popular episode on the Joe Rogan podcast, spurred on a movement that was called Reid Area 51, which we personally attended and reported on, which was interesting to say the least. Definitely recommend checking out that live broadcast for poops and giggles out there if you have some free time. I'll make sure to link that in the description as well. But a lot of this has me thinking, why now? And we also have to entertain the idea that this could be a psyop, a psychological operation, just like the false alien invasion that was broadcasted over the radio over 80 years ago, which many psychologists and government agents used as a study to learn about propaganda and predictive programming. Yeah, there's also this incident that terrified many, was duplicated, copied over, and a psychological operation in itself, which should be questioned, especially with the very strange timeline that we're living in now, with this year, 2020, being interesting, to say the least. So, are we being fattened up by the aliens for a harvest? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Of course, a lot of theories out there. I told you my personal one in the beginning and laid out others. And if you thought that was helpful, share this video with your friends and family members, because YouTube just hates us. YouTube just keeps screwing us, downranking us, unsubscribing a whole bunch of people, demonetized our channel, took away our memberships, took away our ability to do super chats. And the only thing still keeping me here is, of course, you. And this is why love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.